Welcome to D4 Joinery's YouTube channel. Please like and comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Let's see if we can learn something today. As I always say, you never stop learning in joinery.
So I'm just putting this clip in because at the start of the video, the brace is already on the door and it hasn't explained why we've put it in that position. And after that, we then go onto the saw to cut the bottom, and we haven't showed you how we've marked the bottom of the brace. So I'm just doing this now to try and help explain a little bit. I've just drawn this on a piece of MDF. So bottom rail, style, top rail, and we're just pretending this is the door for now. And the brace in the video is already located like this. So I just want to explain to you why we've put how we've put the brace there and what we'll do to get there. So let's see if I can do this and hopefully it makes sense. So we've done from top corner to bottom corner, and we put it in a certain position, and what we've done for that is we always put our braces central. So first thing we would do is, I'll just show you this now, bear with me, it's really not very easy trying to film and do stuff at the same time, as I'm sure people who do this already know. So what we would do is just mark the centre of this brace. I've actually already done the other side, I'm just doing this to show you. So we'd mark the end like so. As you can see, I've already done it. And we would also mark the end. And then what we also need to do for that is put a diagonal line, draw a line from where the stile and the top rail meet in the corner, and then the same down here. So I'll just draw that on there now. I'm doing this on MDF and it's drawn out in like pen and stuff to try and make things stand out a little bit easier, and the pencil I'm using now. So we would put this line through here on the bottom there, and then again up the top. It will make sense in a second why we do that. Now I'm going to show you something and then we'll remove it. So then what we would do is we would lay this brace on diagonal line like so. But and then what we would do is mark this point here, this stile line on this bit of the brace and this bit on the brace. But as you can see, you're thinking, well, how do I mark this line here? So I don't have a line there. So what we have to do before we actually lay this brace on is mark those lines. So what we would do is lay that on the stile, and from the sight line of the rail, we would just square a line across. We would do that on the top and the bottom. And then once that's done, you can then, I apologise about keep moving the camera, but I'm here by myself. I don't have anyone here filming for me, so it's a bit awkward. So let's just get that done and I will show you. Typical, it's going to be a pain, which these do sometimes, but that's not bad. So now we can do this properly. So we've marked our centre line up here. We've now marked that on the brace. We've now also squared the line across from the rail onto the stile, which now means we can mark everything up. Maybe I can put that on there for you guys to see how it's done. Now again, I wouldn't generally use a pencil this big. I'm only using this right now to try and help explain how we do things. So you then get a ruler or something along them sort of lines. Mark where the brace hits the sight line of the stile. You'd mark that line up, which is here. You then do the same on this line. Here, I understand it's moving, I'm just trying to explain how we've done it in the video before. And then on the, so we've done the 2 style lines, and now we'll do the rail. So, and then what we do, mark the tops, transfer them lines on the top. And then after we've done that, we've squared it all over the top so you can see it. This bit here gets cut off, and then hopefully it makes sense to you now. Hopefully you can see it properly. Let's try and make that a little bit easier to see. Come a bit closer. So you can see that is now transferred these lines, style lines, so that would now locate properly into there. So that as far as we've got on the video, and then you'll see him cutting this bit out. Now, the other reason you might be thinking is, why have we gone all the way up the door, and why aren't we going like in single panel to single panel to rail style? Reason being is, for a brace to work, let's see if we can use this angle finder to explain this a little bit. So for a brace to work, so you've got your, call this your bottom rail, we call this the style. So they're already at like 90 degrees. So bottom rail, if we go back down to 0, so the brace needs to be at least 45 degrees, as we can show here. Now, if you wonder why that is, anything less than 45 degrees, it's not doing its job because it's so close to horizontal, it's not actually, it just closes very easily. So if you can think of the compression of the gate and gravity's doing it, it's just pulling it down, so it's not doing its job, which is why you have to be over 45 degrees. And we work on the rule of thumb of basically anything, so when we put this brace in here, as you can see now, if we put that in and it was actually at, show you now, 45 degrees, like so, we would then change how we do it. So if we went bottom rail to top rail, corner to corner, and it was at 45 degrees, basically anything 45 degrees and below, we won't do like that because we don't feel it's actually bracing and working properly. So that is why we've gone top corner to bottom corner of the door, and then through the middle rail, where sometimes they have a middle rail here in the door, and you can actually just do your brace there to there, then the second one there to there, so it kind of looks like 2 Zs, where with this you can't, because it doesn't actually work and the brace isn't doing its job properly. Yeah, so that is why we've gone top to bottom, because we need the brace to be over 45 degrees. And so the higher in the degrees, the more up it is in degrees, as you can see here. So this one would be like 70. If you were to push down, with me here. If you were to push straight down on that, bear with me, you know, that takes, that's not going anywhere, so that's the brace. It's a lot of force to close that. But if we go down to 45 degrees, now it's a bit of force, but the more I go under 45, the easier that's getting. Hope that explains a little bit about bracing and why we put them in over a 45 degree angle. And the next bit, like you're wondering, is why have we done a double shoulder instead of just a mitre? It just works better. It's a stronger way of doing it. If you can fit 2 big lumps of wood into a corner, it just braces the door so much better. And then when we go into the rail, you will see in the video that we actually notch our brace into the rail. And again, reason being is, as it's compressing, if you didn't notch it into the rail, it would exaggerate it, it would just slide across. Where, because it's notched in, it physically can't move, because it's up against a piece of timber. So that is the reason why we have done what we've done and why we're doing what we're doing in the video. Hopefully it makes more sense as the video goes along.
So in this clip, you can see how I've just showed you in the previous one. The sapele's all cut, and what we're doing is now, this is the cutout in the rail we're doing. So as I mentioned, the reason why we do this is just for strength, to hold it all into place. This is a template we use for doing it. It's just marking it all out. He will then get the router, as you can see right now, and let this into the rail. So we try not to take too much out in one hit. We just don't want it smashing, the router jumping, anyone getting injured. Just nice and steady. Now that's all done, we just need to square out the corners. So we use a Japanese back cut saw here just to cut the worst of it out. Reason being, we use these. They're fine, really nice, easy to use. They're a flush cut saw, and as you can see, what a lovely action. And just makes life a lot easier, really. And then once he's done this, we will then finish squaring it off with a chisel. It just makes it easier, taking the worst of it out with a saw. So as he's doing this, you can just see those lines on the rail. That is what we saw right at the start of the video when I was doing my intro and he was marking out. So that is the diagonal line of the brace all the way up the door. So that's how we put the template on those two outside points, and then where the chisel is now, that's 25mm back. So that's how we've got that angle. So now to mark this end, what he's just done, we now push the shoulder end nice and tight up against the stile, up against the rail, so it's held in the right place. We will then put a clamp on it to hold this in place, which you will see in a second. And once he's done that, we will tip the door over and basically just draw on the other side, and that will mark out exactly what we've just done onto the brace. And this is what he's just cut out. What we're cutting out now is literally what we've just marked. So on the saw bed, we've actually got a line on there which tells us where the end of the blade is. So that's what we're able to do. Put the piece of timber up to that line and then cut it. Sometimes when we're doing this, we will put a sheet of MDF onto the bed of the saw to be able to cut and then lay it to the edge of that to cut it. Depends on how we're doing it. What you can see now is an exact repeat of what you've just seen at the other end. We're just doing the exact same process again. The reason we've sped all this up is you've just watched it at the other end. Didn't want to bore you by showing you the whole process like in real time again. It just helps seeing it from a different angle just to explain it all, really what's going on, because you can see him lining everything up a bit more now.
we'll do the exact same thing again. Clamp this on, lift the door up, draw around it, and then cut to the line. Always leave the line in when we do these. As you will see later on, we want these braces tight. If they're not tight, they're not doing their job. So always leave the line in, leave it nice and tight. So there's no glue on these, but yet they're holding themselves in place, as you can see. So as you saw before, it's going to line that up with the 2 points on the rail, and then it'll be clamping that in place and routing out. Exact same at this end. Reason we're doing this both ends first, I'm sure you figured out, it's self-explanatory, is we don't have a stile and a rail to fit into. It's literally getting cut between these, so that's why we do both ends first. Just keep the same process. It's easy to finish one process. Then we will get the Japanese back cut saw, rough cut it all out, get the chisel, take all the corners out, and then, as you've seen before, we will get the brace, we will lay it on there with the line in between those diagonal lines that you can see here, clamp it on both ends, draw around it, and then cut it, leaving the line in, making sure it's nice and tight. Now just cutting it out as you've just seen before. As we can see there, we are leaving the line in. It just makes it that little bit tighter. We can always cut more if needs be, but if we take too much off now, it's a brand new brace we've got to do. And as you can see, that's all in there nice and tight. We're now in the glue up process. So with this, we like to use plenty of glue. We can always get rid of the glue and clean it off. Plenty of glue, put a clamp on there, make sure it's all flush in the right place. Staple it. Just to hold. Also, you don't really need the staples, but we like to do both sides. It's just another way of holding it, making sure it's all good. Clean the glue off, and then we do the middle one, and then we do the far end. It doesn't matter really the order you do them in. It's just how we're doing it at the moment. But as you say, if we've got to use a hammer to knock the braces out, it just shows in there nice and tight. Some of you are thinking, why are we gluing both bits? We just want to make sure there's plenty of glue in there, because when you hit this down, it's going to be sliding off in all directions. So if we glue everything, we know we will actually be there, but glue will be coming off both sides. So you can always clean the glue off, it's not a problem. It just shows how tight they are in there, because we've had to take that one out just to allow us to get that in, allow that bit of flex. Again, you don't really need to staple them. It's just something we do. It's just another way of holding it whilst the glue's going off, just to keep it in place, just in case it gets knocked and wants to move. Not that it would do, it's just something that we do. It's a bit overkill, but better safe than sorry. And then the exact same process at the bottom. Plenty of glue. Tap it all in flush, staple it, and then it's all done, finished. And this is how we fit braces. Works well for us, never had any problems. I hope you enjoyed seeing how we go about doing this.